Hi, this is Terry. Welcome back to my channel. The last couple of videos have really resonated with viewers. The roller coaster of optimism, and then Love Me Today, Remember Me Tomorrow, and then also the in-flight newsletter that I sent out last Tuesday on vulnerability also really resonated. And so that got me thinking about what's really important in our lives, especially in midlife. Although I would say, Ray, that your friends are very important to you. Given the amount of time that you spend FaceTiming with them when you're at home.
And you didn't call me out there, bro.
Yeah, wow. And I realized that this is something, well, I didn't just realize this because I learned through my research for the book, Piloting Your Life, that this is something that we really need to be investing our time and energy in our midlife. It's good for our health, it's good for our brains, and it's actually going to help us live a higher quality of life longer. This past weekend, I was able to take Ray up to Davis, California to meet up with two of my besties from a long time ago. Both of them I met in my early 20s, and there actually haven't been a lot of people that I've kept up with along the way. If it wasn't for Facebook, I probably wouldn't keep in touch with a lot of people that I knew back in high school, and it's super fun that I get to keep in touch with them. But I wasn't really good about keeping touch after I left Castro Valley to go off to college. And in getting together with Bonnie and with Beth, Beth lives in Visalia, which is in the Central Valley of California, and Bonnie lives up in Sacramento, so we don't see each other very often. Beth and I write to each other twice a month, and we've been doing that for decades, it seems. It's hard to believe I speak about decades. And they both know all sorts of secrets about me, which is totally fun, and Ray has been able to hear a few of them. And hey, were you able to see me as a 22-year-old when we were talking yesterday?
Oh, goodness, no.
So that was a fun conversation on our way home from Davis, which ended up being about a 2-hour drive. And I realized that it's so important for me to spend time with my friends in real life, which I don't always take the time to do, and I think I've talked about that before on this channel. But they fill my bucket. They refuel me. They make me feel seen, and they make me feel heard in a world where I'm so easily and quickly dismissed, and I'm not always seen and heard, or there are lots of people who are trying to make me less of this or more of this in order to make it more comfortable for them. So spending time with my friends like Beth and Bonnie, and then I've got lots of others, is really very important, but I haven't always been willing to invest the time. One of the things that I talked about in the book is the importance of what I called crew chats, getting together with a couple of people that you either want to stay connected with or you want to get to know better and build the relationship with. And I'm encouraging that once a month you get together with 3, 4, 5 people maximum, in order to talk about things we wouldn't normally talk about and normalize the conversations about previously taboo subjects. Everything from our health to our to parenting, to our relationships, to sex, to money, to death, to grieving, to feeling lonely, isolated, alone. All of these things we should be talking about so that we realize that we aren't the only ones. Through those in real life connections, we can bond, and once again, we can feel seen and heard. With the support of our friends, we can get out of our heads. I don't know if any of you struggle with negative self-talk. This year, it's on my, actually part of my goals to have more positive self-talk so that I'm not as critical about the way that I look or the way that I sound or what I said the night before, or how I screw up as a parent, or all the different things in life.
Very cheery.
But I think our friends end up seeing us in a much more positive light. So when we're feeling a little bit down or we're feeling not seen and heard, we can get caught up in that negative self-talk. Our friends can actually help us talk ourselves off that ledge. And I know that there are times that I tend to cocoon or hibernate, and it's just easier to not go out. And that's not good for me. And even if you're an introvert, I still think that it's helpful to talk with others and realize that you're not the only one going through what it is that you're going through. And it helps to validate. Not that we should be looking for validation for other people, but sometimes it really does help as we're going through this journey to know that we're not crazy, that we're not alone, and to be seen and to be heard. At the same time, I'm trying really hard to make sure that the people I do surround myself are the ones who are going to fill my bucket, that they are not going to be tearing me down, or they're not going to be energy vampires taking away. I do have no problem giving back to other people. I do like to support, but I'm at a time in my life where there has to be mutual value. There has to be some sort of a value exchange. And I'm not talking about money. It's just, I can't hold up both sides of the relationships anymore. And I want to know that someone is just as committed to making sure that I'm loved as a friend and I'm supported as a friend, because I try really hard to be a very loyal and supportive and very loving, helpful, and kind friend. Lord knows I'm not perfect at this, but I do try really hard. And so that's what I'm looking for in other people, whether it's in my old friends or it's in my new friends. So getting back to the idea of the crew chats, I have pushed out some ideas out on Pinterest, and I think you can follow me at Terri Hansen Mead. And then I also have it out on the Piloting Your Life website that actually has a link to Pinterest, where I've posted some blog posts around ideas. I think back in December it was about death and planning, and this month is all about taking risks. And I'll be writing this before I have to finish writing it, but the whole thing is around the hashtag One Brave Thing challenge that's out in February. So it's in support of that. And I'll be having my first crew chat. We're doing it virtually. I have a few friends around the country. One's in Oklahoma, one's in Texas, and then one's in Oregon. And so we are going to do one virtually I think we're going to use Zoom. And so I'll take some notes around that and see if I have some more suggestions around that. But I challenge you to get together, preferably in person, with a couple people that you either want to get to know better or that you have good relationships with, that you want to just strengthen those relationships. And check out Piloting Your Life, the crew chat page, for some ideas. They're also in the back of the book, Piloting Your Life.
And all of these links will be in the description.
Oh, I'm just so terrible with that. And if you don't have your copy, you can either get it through Amazon or other online retailers, an audiobook, ebook, or paperback. But you don't have to buy the book, because the website also has some suggestions in it. It'll take you to the link to either Pinterest or to Medium for some ideas. So I'd love to hear from you as to what you do to maintain those connections, what you do with your friends to refill your soul, refill your bucket at a time when the world is really trying to drain us as quickly as we fill it. So anything else I should cover, Ray?
You've done a pretty rad job so far.
Oh, talk about filling my bucket. So thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And as always, I love to see your comments, and I'm happy to respond. Until next week, let go of perfection, take risks, and above all else, have fun.